What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Commit to Hit video. Wild ending in the golf world today. Really actually enjoyable. I haven't watched any NFL action today because the golf was actually captivating. So before we get into it, make sure you follow at Commit to Hit on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Really enjoying kind of what we're doing right now, these recaps, and looking forward to once major season really starts bucking. But yeah, follow at Commit to Hit Twitter, on YouTube, as well as TikTok, where I'll put some of the shorter videos, and same thing on YouTube Shorts. But Twitter, I was going off today. So remember, if you want any rehab stuff at DM Rehab, you can find that as well. But wow, what a day of golf. So let's get right into it. We'll save the main course for second. So let's start out with back in Dubai once again this week, the Dubai Desert Classic presented by Hero, I believe. Rory McIlroy wins. I think he shot 70, 71, 63, 70 or 71. So had a huge third round, made up 10 strokes, and then yeah, so it was a similar storyline to last week. Rory was in contention, top of the leaderboard, but he was able to avenge last week's meltdown. Not a whole lot going on for really any of the leaders the whole day. Obviously, I didn't watch this, but just catching some highlights, looking at the leaderboards, how they scored down the stretch. Not really a lot going on, but Rory was able to kind of steer it home down the stretch. A bunch of pars, maybe I think one bogey, and then took the lead early and, like I said, steered it home. Cam Young and Adrian Moronk were his closest followers, but besides that, it didn't seem like an overwhelmingly exciting tournament there. But good for Rory. Playing fantastic to start the year. Honestly, if you're buying stock, he's a buy high in my opinion right now. So we wait for it every year. Is this a year he wins the Masters? I can only hope. I'm gonna throw a few shekels down on it, you could say. Now let's get to the main course. All right. So what is typically not a main course, what John Rahm once called I think he said dog shit putting contest, something along those lines, or just shit putting contest. I don't know, one of those. But down in the Coachella Valley, out in Cali, amateur Nick Dunlap is the story of the week. And I had a whole makeup. I'll say it. I'm not gonna back away of what I felt yesterday coming into today. So I had written down milquetoast snooze fest of a player. Biggest problem with the PGA Tour, real boring. There's just nothing that differentiates any of these guys, and he's going to be another one like Sam Bennett, for instance, last year at the Masters. Huge story. What's he done since turning pro? Essentially nothing. He's on the Korn Ferry Tour. He comes into today, and with a 3-shot lead, he's going to blow it, and then we're never going to hear from him again. Boy, oh boy, does that change. And we'll get into it now. So, like I said, comes into Sunday with a 3-shot lead. 3-shot lead over Sam Burns and Justin Thomas. So those three are playing in the final group. So we'll get right into the action. We'll go right to the 7th hole where he doubles after a tee ball in the water. And he loses the lead before getting it back or tying the lead on 8 with a birdie. So Sam Burns and Nick Dunlap are tied at 8 under. At this point, things get very bunched. There's a lot of guys competing at this point. There's Xander Schauffele, Christian Bezuidenhout, JT Poston was there at this point. Justin Thomas still. A bunch of other guys were just hanging around. What's his name? Kevin Yu. He was bucking for a little bit, but we'll get back to the ending of how other things went. So other stuff that I had going on during this final round was initially a little bit too much chit-chat from the final group. It seemed like Dunlap was initiating it, which makes sense. You kind of want to be comfortable with these guys. You don't want like old school Tiger, like just being mean to people and making them uncomfortable. Personally, I thought that they were kind of feeding Justin Thomas and especially Sam Burns are kind of feeding into it a little bit. JT, it's different. He's an Alabama guy too, but Sam Burns, I don't know. I feel like you want to. It's not a team game. It's an individual game. You want to make the kid uncomfortable, and you want to win. You could be buddies afterwards, but you want to win during that final round. I think there's a little too much buddy chit chat, at least the first 2/3 of the round. Like I said, Kevin Yu, this character, he tied for the lead at 28 under at one point and was hanging around for a while. But he did bogey the last. I think he finished at 27 under. Life had a JT. Didn't have his best day today, but it was good to see going low. I think they showed a stat. In his last 10 rounds, he's averaging like 66.5 per round versus prior 32 rounds since the 2023 Masters. He was shooting on average over 71. So good to see Life at a JT. And then mentioned Christian Zadenhout. Bez finished his second seemingly out of nowhere and had a legit shot at a playoff. So let's go right towards the end. It's all going to come down to Sam Burns and Nick Dunlap. So I've said what I said about Nick Dunlap. I had money on Sam Burns, so I definitely wanted Sam Burns to win. But I'll describe how things turn out. So let's go right to the par 5 16th. To this point, seems like Sam Burns is in control. When we get to the 16th, it's 29 under for Sam Burns, 28 under for Nick Dunlap. So 16th hole, tee off, good drives by both Dunlap and Burns. Second shot's in, both have a shot to get it to the green. Sam Burns just blocks one, like a really ugly block right. He's like on top of a hill. Didn't look like too tough a pitch shot there, but leaves it probably 30 feet short. Has a actually tough, does not make that putt. Has a relatively tough, probably 5-footer for par on the comeback, and he does make that. So 29 under going to 17. Dunlap, he blocks one a little right as well, but definitely more controlled. Gets it right up by the green, has a nice little kick, and it is closer to the green. He actually, his eagle chip, he actually sends it a little ways by, probably 15 feet by, much more than he bargained for. But he drained a 15-footer in Sam Burns' face, all square going 17. I start having feelings for the kid. I'm enjoying it. My impressions are totally turning around. Like, it takes stones to do that. Let's go right to 17, par 3, over the water, long par 3. It's just tee box, water, green. Dunlap, he's up first, makes birdie on 16. Slapped one in the middle of the green. He's safe. Sam Burns dunks one in the water, then has a shitty wedge from the drop spot. Double bogey. Dunlap is up 2 going to the final hole. Ton of pressure. He's an amateur. He's who knows what he's feeling at this point. You're only 2 back. Sam Burns, if you birdie, he bogeys, you're in a playoff. No problem. So 18th hole. Nick Dunlap, first off the tee, rips a Wyndham ball. Shout out to my logo. If you haven't seen it, go look at my Commit to Hit logo. It is the Wyndham Clark ball tracer. Just a disgusting slice right. That's kind of the shot that Nick Dunlap has, and it's safe. You can go as far right as you want. They made a comparison to 18 at Sawgrass. It's not as difficult as 18 at Sawgrass. You could leave it as far right as you need, and you have a shot. So Dunlap with a Wyndham ball right, Burns up and goes in the water again. He goes in the water again. Dunzo, pathetic to get walked down by a 20-year-old. Personally, it disqualifies him from Ryder Cup for me. I have basically no respect for Sam Burns' golf career anymore. To get walked down by a 20-year-old is, again, pathetic. So Dunlap slaps it up around the green. He actually hits somebody, and it rolls basically to the fringe. Still has a little bit of a chip, has a little bit of a rough to carry, if you will. Needs to make a 6-7 footer to prevent going to a playoff with Bez, and he drains it. So, like I said everything I thought about the kid prior to this round. Milk toast. Huge problem with PGA Tour. He's going to fall off. We're never going to hear from him again. And where are we now? He steps into the final group with Sam Burns and Justin Thomas, a major champion in Justin Thomas, a multiple-time PGA Tour winner in Sam Burns, a Ryder Cupper, Sam Burns. And just absolute stones. I'm all for this kid at this point. Let's go, Nick Dunlap. I hope he goes pro. and I think he could take the money if he goes pro, and then he gets in all the signature events. Shout out Nick Dunlap. You have a new fan. Good for you, man. Congratulations. We're not ending it there, but that was fantastic from Nick Dunlap, and that is it for the Amex. So honestly, that's the main course. For dessert, we got some golf news and then a new segment that we're going to bring up as well. So let's switch things around a little bit here. So let's go to a little picture in picture here. All right, so today's not the day that I get canceled. So transgender golfer Haley Davidson wins a women's event. I think it's the LPGA Next, or I don't know if it's technically LPGA. I know it's not the LPGA Tour, but I think it's a system that's a feeder to the Symetra Tour, which is then Symetra to LPGA. So I'm not getting canceled. I'm not diving deep into this. All I'll say is, sorry, I had a hair in my mouth there. All I'm going to say is, if this is so fair and deemed above board and all else, and it's discriminatory if you say anything against it, then why don't we ever see a transgender male competing in male events? Why is it never the other way around? It's always a transgender female competing in who was once a male competing in the female events. Why don't we ever see it the other way if it's all totally fair and above board? Yada, yada, yada. Again, I'm not getting canceled today. That's all I'll say. That's it. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. We've got Aaron Rodgers with an ace in his first round post-surgery. Is it real? I haven't seen the video, but he was with his O-line, I guess, and they posted it. So I believe him. But coming from a rehab standpoint, I will say that this is impressive, very impressive. 5 months post-op, playing a round of golf in general is impressive, let alone the hole-in-one. Playing golf, you don't really think about it too much, but it's very stressful on the Achilles. The elevation changes, especially walking up and down tee boxes. I've had 2 patients that have actually torn their Achilles walking up and down tee boxes. So it's definitely not stress-free. You think golf's easy, but on the Achilles, it could definitely be very stressful. So props to Rodgers. He's going to be back next year, no problem. Good for him. And then the last thing before we get to the new segment is, let's go to Tiger. So, new Tiger deal with TaylorMade. We have, if you've seen it, it's the Tiger Woods Sunday Red logo, which is meh, but he still owns the TW. So I'm going to go through this whole tweet. So the filings with TaylorMade Lifestyle Ventures reveal they're looking into selling a full range of products: eyewear, eyeglasses, sunglasses, glass frames, sunglass frames, cases. I'm not going to go through all of this. Bags for sports, umbrellas, golf towels, joggers, dresses, hoodies, sports jackets, polos, golf pants, footwear, headwear, sports equipment, golf clubs, grips, balls, tees, head covers, everything they're doing with Tiger. So it seems like he's finally getting his Jordan deal like Jordan got from Nike. The fact that, does Nike just not want another lifetime athlete? That's the only thing I could think. But yeah, Tiger, big time deal with TaylorMade, seemingly inbound. And then we're gonna do is the next thing that we're gonna do is going to be it's gonna be called the Shank of the Week. So it's a new segment highlighting either golf adjacent content that's kind of just out there and wild, or it's going to be a shank. It's going to be a shank shot that I'm going to pull up and we're going to watch. But this week's Shank of the Week is it a shank or is it just a golf content? It is golf content. So saw this tweet earlier this week. 74-year-old, 37-time worldwide winner, 19-time PGA Tour winner, 1992 U.S. Open champion, Tom Kite is listed as a favorite heading into the Amex this week at 25-1 on ESPN, just slightly behind JT. You love to see it. That's fantastic content. Love seeing that. So that's our first Shank of the Week. All right. And that's it for this episode of Commit to Hit. Don't forget to follow on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and check me out on TikTok as well. So I will see you next time after the Farmers as the season really gets into gear here. All right. See you next time. Peace.